Hi guys, today I'm going to be running through a few strategies that you can use at home to help with plantar fasciitis. Plantar fasciitis is quite a stubborn and tricky thing to treat sometimes, and I always recommend getting treatment for it because there are some things that we need to figure out that are unique to you as a person. But here are some things that are common in lots of people with plantar fasciitis. The first thing we need to focus on is stretching the calf. The calf muscle is completely continuous with the Achilles tendon, and then that maps out into the plantar fascia, which is that thick connective tissue underneath the foot. So loose calves are essential. The way I stretch the calf is putting the ball of the foot up against a door frame or a tree or a step, and then driving the hips and chest forwards. And you can also play around with different directions, aiming your body weight at your big toe and at your little toe, so we make sure we get all those different fibre angles. There's also evidence to show that by gently loading the muscle, the calf muscle and the Achilles and the plantar fascia, that can help recovery too. So we're going to use what we call an eccentric load, which is where we slowly lower the heel below the level of a step, which uses the muscle but stretches at the same time, and then we'll carefully push ourselves back up using the good foot to help us as well. So if we pretend my left foot is the bad foot, I'm going to put my left foot on the edge of the step, slowly lower the heel down, which is stretching my left calf muscle. Then I'm going to use my left calf to push myself back up so my heel goes above the level of the step, but I've also been using this foot to help me. So I'm using the left calf, but only as much as feels comfortable to go into a calf raise above the level of the step, and then back down again into a stretch and using it from that stretched position. There's a huge relationship between how well our hips are functioning and what our feet and ankles are doing on the floor. So very commonly I see that tight hips correlate with plantar fasciitis on the same side. So the key hip stretches that I like to do to help us with plantar fascia, I'll check that the glutes are okay. And the way I do that is typically in a pigeon pose type stretch, but really dynamic, just moving around, playing with the hips there. And then you can also stretch the hips in a kind of a low lunge position, or a hip flexor type stretch where you're kneeling and trying to open up the hips from there. In the non-athletic population, the biggest cause or the biggest correlating factor with plantar fasciitis is being overweight. So I often say to people and my patients, our bodies can't talk to us in English. They can only talk to us in signs and symptoms. So sometimes pain, like plantar fasciitis, is actually our body's way of telling us we need to make lifestyle changes that will actually improve our whole health. So if your plantar fasciitis has not been caused by overuse like running or long walking and hiking and things like that, you may need to ask some questions about your overall health and whether or not you need to lose weight. And sometimes pain like this can be a catalyst to make good lifestyle changes. Okay, in the acute phase of plantar fasciitis, it can be super tender on your heel when you place your foot down, particularly after rest. So particularly first thing in the morning, if you've been sitting for a while. And just to take the edge off of that, we recommend using an insole where they've got a gel heel. Just off the shelf is normally fine for people, and it just takes the pressure off in those early days of plantar fasciitis. So as you can see, the treatment of plantar fasciitis at home is quite multifactored. You need to stretch the calf, you need to do some gentle loading into the muscle, check the hips and spine are loose as well. You can ask big questions about your general overall health, and you can even just use an insole if you need to. But every case is different, and that's why I do really recommend getting treatment. We can take a closer look at how your foot and ankle is interacting with the floor, how your knee and hip are functioning, how the pelvis is moving, and if there are we can see if there are any other contributing factors in your life. So I hope that helps give you some strategies for at home, but we are here to help if you need it.